Hey everyone, this is Frank Honus, and I am in Williamsburg, Virginia. This is Sunday, December 4th, 2016. I thought I'd give you guys. I'm on the back porch right now, sort of looking out on some of the beautiful colors out here. A pretty little view of the woods out on the back porch. So it's been a really fun weekend. We do a grand illumination weekend, the Williamsburg grand illumination weekend every year with my in-laws, and it's a lot of fun. We brought the Tracy to myself and our kids Addie and Nate down here, and just some of their family. My mom came down here. It's been a really cool weekend. Pretty cold one, but still a lot of fun. I wanted to talk a little bit, just for a couple minutes, about a different kind of recovery. For those of you guys who follow the website Purity for Life and the blog purityforlife.me, the podcast, you know that I've been incredibly transparent about my former addiction to pornography and the recovery that I've been on, and the incredible healing that has taken place in my life, that continues to take place in my life. And so I'm excited whenever I get to share with people. I get to share with people about my story and where I've come from, and my the healing that I've received and the victories. But I wanted to talk a little bit, just for a couple minutes, since I know I've shared some of this in the past on the podcast and on the blog and whatnot in different places. But I wanted to talk about just the byproducts of addiction. And so I'm 7 years on this journey and this recovery from pornography, and I've made some turned some huge corners, and no longer controlled by porn. No longer make decisions for sexually impure decisions, and I'm thankful for that. So thankful. So many people to thank in my life for that. Most of all, Jesus, His grace and mercy. But sometimes I wonder if I'm really as far as I think that I am, or I've gotten as far as I should be in my recovery. And I guess what I mean about that is in terms of the byproducts of addiction. If you've walked through addiction in your life, you know that there are the underlying things that you medicate. The underlying emotions and feelings and voids, the triggers that you have, and the lack of intimacy, emotional intimacy, and the things that you're needing, the needs that you have, right? So there's so much underneath. It's not, porn is the problem, but it's not really the problem. Alcohol is the problem, but it's not really the problem, right? Drugs are the problem, but it's not really the problem, because if you dig underneath and you look underneath, and you look in the heart, you can see what the real problem is. And if a person really digs deep enough, they can find out, what their struggles really are. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is, the further and further that I've walked in recovery, I've made some great strides and some growth in recovery. But in the areas of emotional areas, anger and irritability and stress, pride, selfishness, fear, negativity. There's a lot of different emotions and things that we feel deep inside, that can be triggered immediately, and that we use porn or whatever your addiction was to medicate and to really try to tamper down and to feed the beast. And of course, pornography always left me feeling empty. And it wasn't until I came to a place of brokenness that I realized that I needed healing. But even today, as I walk 7 years in this addiction, I am still dealing with the byproducts of addiction, and or better yet, I guess I should say the the emotions underneath. Today, I still deal with anger. I still deal with dealing and managing when I feel angry, when I feel hurt, when I feel offended, when I feel bitter, when I struggle with fear, when I struggle with pride or selfishness. And I credit, not in a bad way, but I credit marriage, and I credit being a parent that has really helped to expose that, and that's been a great thing. Those are not bad things. I love being a husband. I love being a dad. But those will really expose the things in your life, and the heart conditions that you have, the struggles that you have in your heart and your mind, your emotions and your feelings. And it really will expose the ability or lack of ability to love. And as I had a real candid, open conversation with my wife today, I sat her down and talked, and we just talked. I just said, honey, I just feel like there's a lot inside of me that's going on right now, a lot of that I'm not happy with inside, and I feel like I have issues inside. I feel like I'm on a totally different journey of recovery, a recovery from anger, a recovery from bitterness, a recovery from irritability and stress and fear, and all those things. A lot of the same emotions that I dealt with when I first came on my recovery from from pornography. And so the way I boil it down, and I think with every addict, especially those who deal with a sexual addiction, is this lack of ability to understand what love really is, and to really lack that ability, or to not love well, I guess you could say, and to have sort of a love problem, which is kind of interesting because guys who look at porn think they know how to have sex, and they know what women want, and they know how to love, and they know how to please and pleasure and all that stuff, but that's so far from the truth, and so I feel like I've made great strides in the last 7 years personally in my recovery, and I do feel like I've grown in my ability to love and to deal with strong emotional feelings that I have at times, but I also feel like I have a long way to go, and a lot to learn about love. So today I sat down with my wife, and we had a conversation about just feeling overwhelmed, just kind of feeling overwhelmed with things, and really wanting breakthrough in my life through some of this stuff, and just dealing with these feelings. So, I think the byproducts of addiction can be the lack of ability to understand, to receive and give love. Number one, the lack of ability to give and receive love, to really understand what true intimacy is, and to be able to give that to people, to be able to relate to people, especially those closest to you. And then the byproducts of addiction can come through, not dealing with things like anger and fear and loneliness and guilt and shame, rejection in a healthy way. And in some of those things, especially in the area of frustration, stress, anger, I haven't dealt too well with those, and I'm still learning greatly. I'm thankful for a wife, Tracy, my wife, who loves incredibly well and is teaching me a lot, and but I'm wanting to be the husband that teaches her how to love well, where she feels loved well, and my kids feel that they've been loved well. And so anyway, not feeling like I'm a rageaholic, and my wife wouldn't say that either, but dealing with strong emotions right now, and dealing with them and managing them in a healthy way. So I'm probably going to write a little bit more on this eventually, or maybe record some more on this, do a podcast or something. But these are just some off the cuff kind of thoughts about the byproducts of addiction, and just sort of a check-in this week. So pray for me. I love to get to do the podcast and the website, the blog, and help men. But I also am a man who's still on the journey myself, and still in need of support and help and structure and encouragement and accountability. So please pray for me, and as I pray for you as well. Have a great weekend, and enjoy your weekend, whatever you're doing. Check out purityforlife.me if you need some help. And episode 158 will be out tomorrow on Monday. I think you'll really enjoy that. My wife and I sharing at a marriage conference earlier this month. So God bless you guys. We'll talk soon. See ya.